Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're looking at a company that doesn't just, build things.
Right.
They specialize in protecting them, rehabilitating them, and making sure they last.
We are getting into the full company profile of Malak AlInjaz Contracting Company.
A really significant and I think highly specialized player in the construction world over in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
And our mission really is to get to the bottom of how this firm, with just over a decade of history, based in KSA's eastern province, became the absolute go-to for these really complex structural challenges.
And their slogan really sets the tone. Ikuge, ikuha.
Which means, let us build excellence together.
That is a really powerful statement. And actually, before we go any further, there's a key detail in the sources about precision.
Okay.
Something this company clearly values. It's the name.
Okay.
It's pronounced Malak.
Malay.
Okay.
Not Malik.
Right. And that little detail, that subtlety, probably tells you a lot about their whole approach. Exactly. So for you, the listener, the big takeaway here is how firms like this operate in a market with mega projects and, frankly, extreme environmental demands.
This is a shortcut, really, to seeing how they balance all of it. The technical skill, the craftsmanship, and, this is critical, all the compliance.
So let's start there with that foundation. Their whole operational framework seems to be built on just an incredibly high bar for rules and regulations.
It absolutely is. I mean, it's defined by control and accountability.
How so?
Every single thing they do is executed in compliance with three big benchmarks at once.
Okay.
You got international standards, then the very specific Saudi building codes, the SPC.
Which are mandatory.
Mandatory. And on top of that, just the best engineering practices out there. It's not optional. It's the cost of entry for the kind of work they do.
And that rigorous foundation leads right into their 4 core values. The first one is excellence.
Right.
How do they take that from just a word on a poster to something, measurable?
They connect it directly to process. For them, excellence just means rigorous quality control.
Yeah.
And it's applied through every single phase of a project, from the first plan to getting materials all the way to the final handover.
Which leads right into the second value they list, innovation.
It has to, because that kind of quality requires constant refinement. And for them, innovation is about adopting cutting-edge tech and, importantly, sustainable practices.
So it's not just innovation for innovation's sake.
No, not at all. In KSA, energy efficiency is paramount. So using the newest tech isn't a gimmick. It's a flat-out economic and environmental necessity.
Okay, and when you're dealing with projects of this scale, clients need certainty. That brings us to reliability.
Reliability is their promise of execution. Simple as that. It means on-time delivery, sticking to the budget, and what they call complete accountability.
Owning the outcome.
Owning the whole life cycle. And the fourth value, integrity, holds it all together. Just transparent, ethical, compliant operations, no compromises.
So that covers the who and the how, but I think the sheer range of their services is what really sets them apart.
This is where they go from just being a builder to a specialized engineering partner.
Let's get into that. The 5 pillars of their specialized services.
Yeah. This is where you see how they solve those critical problems that, determine if a structure is going to last 50 years.
Or 5.
Or 5, exactly.
Okay, pillar 1 has to be a top priority in that region. Thermal insulation.
It's the first line of defense against the climate there. These systems are engineered specifically to handle Saudi Arabia's extreme heat.
And the main goal is just energy efficiency, right?
That's the primary driver. Less heat transfer means less need for air conditioning, which means massive energy savings. Yeah. It's a huge deal.
So what are they actually using? The profile mentions a few specific systems.
They're using materials optimized for that climate. So you see high-efficiency polyurethane foam, which gives you this seamless thermal barrier.
Okay.
And you also see a lot of extruded polystyrene or XPS.
Why that's specifically?
Because it's a rigid foam that has high compressive strength, so it can handle loads on, say, a roof or foundation, and it's also highly resistant to water.
And then there's EIFS, the exterior insulation and finish systems. That sounds like an all-in-one package.
That's a great way to put it. EIFS is a full cladding system, so you get that continuous layer of insulation on the outside of the building, plus a protective and decorative finish. It's a total solution.
So pillar 1 is keeping heat out. Pillar 2, waterproofing systems, feels like the other side of that coin, keeping water out.
And it is absolutely vital. I mean, water is probably the #1 enemy of a structure's lifespan.
It just causes so much damage.
It leads to deterioration, mold, corrosion of the steel rebar inside the concrete.
Right.
It's a disaster.
So their solutions cover everything: foundations, roofs,
Basements, water tanks, you name it. Any vulnerable point.
Now, they mentioned some traditional materials, but also some high-performance synthetics: PVC, TPO, EPDM. What's the difference there for our listeners?
Well, it all depends on the application. The synthetics, PVC, TPO, EPDM, are what we call single-ply systems.
Okay.
PVC is known for durability. TPO is really popular now for its energy efficiency. It's often white and reflective.
Mm.
And EPDM is a synthetic rubber, incredibly tough against UV and temperature swings. They picked the right one for the job.
And the most interesting one here seems to be crystalline waterproofing. That sounds like it works from the inside out.
That is the perfect analogy. It's an integral method.
So it's not a sheet they put on top.
No, it's a chemical that's added to the concrete mix itself, or as a coating. It reacts with moisture inside the concrete to grow these little crystals that block all the pores.
Wow.
So the concrete itself becomes the water barrier. It's amazing technology for things like deep foundations.
Which moves us from defense to, well, repair. Pillar 3 is concrete injection. This sounds like surgery for buildings.
It's exactly that, precision surgery. They use these advanced injection technologies for really targeted, minimally invasive repairs.
To fix cracks and seal leaks.
Right, without having to tear the whole thing down.
And they use 2 different materials, epoxy and polyurethane. Why the 2?
It all depends on the type of crack. Epoxy injection is for structural repair. It has incredible strength, so it literally glues the concrete back together and restores its load-bearing ability.
And polyurethane.
Polyurethane is for leak sealing. It reacts with water and expands into a flexible foam, so it's perfect for actively stopping water in places like tunnels or basements.
Okay, so that leads right into the bigger jobs. Pillar 4, concrete repair. This is for when the damage is more widespread.
Yeah, now we're talking about structural integrity being threatened, spalling concrete, corrosion. The goal here is just extending the service life of the structure.
And they mention a specific technology for strengthening that's really state-of-the-art: carbon fiber reinforcement systems, CFRP.
Ah, yeah. CFRP is it's a game changer for structural engineers.
Why is it so effective?
It's these sheets or strips of carbon fiber bonded with epoxy onto a beam or a column. The strength-to-weight ratio is just phenomenal. It's super light, it doesn't corrode, and it's incredibly strong.
And what's really fascinating is that they don't just use it to restore a structure.
No, they use it to allow a structure to exceed its original design capacity.
So you could take an old bridge and use CFRP to allow it to handle much heavier modern trucks.
Precisely. It's an advanced structural upgrade, and they pair it with things like structural jacketing to boost strength even more.
Amazing. Okay, final pillar. Pillar 5, protective coatings. This is like the armor for the structure.
That's it. This is the engineered shield, especially for the harsh industrial environments you find all over KSA.
Protecting against chemicals, corrosion, abrasion.
All of it. And one of the most interesting ones they list are anti-carbonation systems.
Okay, you have to explain that one. What is carbonation, and why do you need a special coating to stop it?
So carbonation is a natural chemical process. CO2 from the air gets into the concrete and slowly lowers its pH level.
And that's bad because
The high pH of concrete is what creates a protective layer around the steel rebar inside. When the pH drops, that layer disappears and the rebar starts to rust and expand.
which cracks the concrete from the inside.
Exactly. An anti-carbonation coating is basically a high-tech barrier that blocks the CO2 from ever getting in, preserving that high pH and protecting the steel indefinitely.
That is just a fascinating level of detail. So that defines their capabilities. Let's talk credibility. Who trusts them to do this work?
Well, their client list speaks volumes. I mean, they're a preferred partner for some of the most demanding groups in the region.
We're talking huge government bodies like the Royal Commission for Jubail.
Huge. And then you see them working alongside global construction giants like China Railway Construction Co., CRCC.
Which shows they can meet international standards.
Absolutely. And also major regional players like Zamel Steel and the petrochemical giant Sinopec. The range is just, it's really impressive. It shows they can adapt.
A great client list builds trust, but you need accreditations to really validate your processes.
And the baseline for that is the ISO 9000 Aero 1.201 certification.
The global standard for quality management.
Right. It's a validation that their quality management system for waterproofing, concrete repair, and general contracting is consistent, it's auditable, and it's always improving.
Now, ISO 9001 is almost expected at this level, but there's another certification here that really stood out to me.
Now, which one you mean?
The cybersecurity one.
Yes. This is maybe the most unique insight in the whole profile. They've achieved the Cybersecurity Compliance Certificate, SACS 002.
Which comes from?
Saudi Aramco. SCS stands for Saudi Aramco Cybersecurity. And getting this is, well, it's not a trivial thing.
So why does a concrete repair company need top-tier cybersecurity? What does that tell us?
It tells us that construction is now digital. Think about it. They're working with building information models, or BIM, sensitive engineering plans, project logistics.
All of it is data.
It's all digital assets. And when you partner with an entity like Aramco, you're on their network. This certificate proves Malak AlInjaz can safeguard that data. It means their digital reliability is vetted just as rigorously as their structural reliability.
That is a layer of complexity you just don't think about.
It's the future of the industry.
Okay, so let's tie this all together. What Malak AlInjaz offers isn't just contracting, it's something more.
It's a synthesis, it's specialized material science, it's high-level engineering, and it's meticulous, multi-layered compliance.
All focused on making critical infrastructure last as long as possible in one of the toughest environments on Earth.
They're the specialists who ensure the future stability of these massive projects. They understand that real longevity isn't about brute force, it's about the incredibly engineered systems just beneath the surface.
And making sure their digital footprint is as secure as their physical foundations.
Precise.
So here's a final thought for you to consider. Given their deep expertise in these niche areas like carbon fiber reinforcement and these specialized coatings, and that they're compliant with both ISO 9001 for quality and this incredibly specific SCCS 002 Aramco standard for cybersecurity, ask yourself this. How often do we completely overlook the hidden complexity of what keeps our world standing? These are the systems beneath the surfaces, the specialized engineering, that allow massive projects to function securely and sustainably for decades. That deep specialization, that's what's really holding up our modern world.